Advice is never simple. Why look before you leap? If he who hesitates is lost. Live within your means is sage advice. But then, why are we encouraged to go big or go home? The value of advice is bound to your unique dreams and circumstances. Context isn't just king, it's the entire kingdom, son.
Welcome back to episode 6 of the Elevate Water Polo Show on 216, proudly brought to you by SuperSport Schools and sponsored by Odin and Momentum. Lwazi Mari, great to be back with you after missing you last episode.
Yeah, thanks. So good to be back in the Cape. Sure, had some great water polo over the weekend. But it's nice to be back here, back in the Cape, experiencing some really good polo as well. Lots of things to look forward to.
Absolutely. It's been another busy week and great to be here. We're at the Herzliya High School wonderful aquatic centre here. We both had the privilege of training and coaching in here. So thank you to our host Herzliya. It's such an amazing facility. Have you played here, trained here?
Absolutely, thanks. Sure. It's obviously, I think, probably up there with one of my favorite indoor aquatic centres currently. Just love the setup. I love the vibe. I think they've got the acoustics down perfectly here. The water temperature is always great and incredible facilities, honestly, really top tier.
Yeah, wonderful here. So in this show, in episode 6, we have got another full lineup for you. We're going to look into IPT Countdown. It's 6 weeks to go. Every week we are creeping a little bit closer, so that's going to be exciting to consider who's doing what and how everyone's preparing. We've also got some great reviews to do. We've had some good stuff in KZN, some stuff in the Boerland, Wynberg, in the Cape Town kind of metro, and out in East London at Clarendon. We're also going to feature some of the students here at Herzliya and the coaches who are putting this program together. It's a school with a proud water polo tradition, and we're looking forward to catching up with some of the current members. And then a little bit of a tournament preview. There's still water polo going on. Exam season screeches into town very shortly, but we've still got some great water polo going on. Not least of all the Mike Samuels Under 14 tournament, which is in KZN. And then, again, we're going to look at our submissions of the week, our best goal and our best defensive play of the week. So that's what you've got to look forward to on episode 6. Let's dive in, Lwaz. KZN top schools, always a big derby of some big names in that competition. Do you want to take us through those awards?
Absolutely, thanks. Sure, it was really open-ended this time around. I think without their matrics, you could really see that a lot of the KZN schools are a lot closer than what they were. So up here we have Kearsney, who finished top again. So well done to Nick Rodder and the team over there in Kearsney. Got Hilton doing great things as well. You know, they lost a lot of big players in their matrics, so it's really great to see them still upholding themselves up there in the top 2. To round off the top 3, we have Clifton. Very young and exciting team led by Pierre Leroux. He's done some really great stuff. They participated at SACS tournaments with no matrics. They haven't had matrics this whole season, so they're really going to be a threat coming forward in the next coming year. And then to finish off the rest of the rankings, we have Westfield that finished 4th, Northwood has finished 5th, 6th was Michael House, also doing some really great things over there. They had a great stayers competition, so really nice to see them building on that. DHS who came 7th, Peter Maritzburg coming 8th, Glenwood coming 9th.
Yeah, and what I like to see there was the 4 Midland schools in that top 10 or in that top 9. So really, the picture in KZN is robust. It's not traditionally the DHSs, the Northwoods and Glenwood. They were the traditional schools that dominated the KZN water polo scene in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. But it's certainly now a balanced picture between the Durban city schools and the Midlands.
Absolutely, Dunks. I think what's also really nice to see is it's never just the same people who finish in the top 4. It changes quite frequently. It's very volatile over there in the KZN side of things. So as you said, it's great to see schools in the Midlands areas performing so well week in and week out and challenging for these competitions. So it's just showing that their programs are running well despite the fact that they're a little bit isolated from other KZN schools.
Yeah, and credit to all those coaches and program administrators from the Midlands region for staying so competitive. So those results we gave you were an overall score for the top schools in KZN. let's give a shout out to the individual age groups. So in under 14, the top school in under 14 age group was Hilton. In under 15, it was Clifton, as you mentioned. Pierre Leroux, watch this space. I'm sure they're going to be having some great teams coming through there. And under 19, the top school was Clifton as well. So really great performances by all those teams, and congratulations. Then we had a little bit of an update. So last, in episode 5, we did the Fair Tree top schools results. And it was really interesting to see how those moved over the course of the Saints tournament week, the Saints Invitational week. So, Bishop's still maintaining the number 1 spot in the country, which is just fantastic, and congrats to you and your team, and we spoke to you guys last week. Hilton in with a very, very impressive second position, and St. Stithians, your alma mater, finishing in the top 3. Below that we have Rondebosch, Kersney, St. David's Marist, St. John's, St. Andrews, Uffies, and Michaelas making up the top 10 in the rankings. Anything there that you wanted to note? Any movement up or down that you saw that was worth noting?
Done some big movements happening here in the standings. So we had St. David's, who went from 3rd to 6th. So a little bit unfortunate for them. They had a great Sachs tournament, losing narrowly to St. John's in that final. Such a great final as well. Unfortunately, they had a tough crossover in the quarterfinals, which knocked them out and obviously put them into that 5th to 8th playoff, which they ended 7th, which warrants why they're in that 6th position. Then we had St. Stithians, the alma mater, moving up to 3rd place. I think it's very warranted. They came 3rd at Cares, had absolutely brilliant results, brilliant performances, and even without big players like James Crick, Declan Wood, they still managed to finish in the top 3 at their own competition. So that 3rd place is very much warranted. We then have Selborne, who unfortunately fell out of the top 10. I think Storm will be really disappointed about that. Obviously, they really did struggle after their matrics had left. So Storm will be doing a rebuild of his program, but there's a lot of nice and young, exciting players coming out of that area. So looking forward to seeing what they'll do next year. And then finally, we have St. Andrews, who are probably the biggest jumpers of this week, moving up from 11th place into 8th. So they've had a great resurgence. Grant McKenzie's really doing some good stuff there. They've had really good results against some of the top teams. I think now the biggest thing they need to focus on is just finding a bit of consistency, as they've had mixed results against some of the lower teams, but play really nicely against some of the top teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've uncovered something interesting there, is right. The bigger schools maybe having a more of advantage because they've got a bigger player base coming through. So when a smaller, maybe one of the coastal schools like Selborne might, when the matrics are out the picture, it impacts them a little bit more. So really interesting to watch that happening. Let's go to the ladies' side of things. So in the Fair Tree top 10, we have St. Stithians at number 1, and rightly so after winning their own tournament. A fantastic performance by Megan Celino and her team. Rodine, neighbours from across town in Johannesburg, finishing in 2nd place, and Herschel finishing in 3rd, with St. Anne's, Redham Constantia, Durban Girls College occupying the next 3 positions, and then Redham House, Bedford View, Clarendon, DSG, and Bolio finishing in the top 10. Do you want to take us through some of the movements in the ladies' side of things?
Sure, thanks. So St. Stithians doing an excellent job of regaining that position 1. They lost out in the Prestige Cup in the final against Rodine, and they'd won the St. Anne's tournament. So it's been the back and forth, I think, for a large part of this year between St. Stithians and Rodine. And I think Megan Celino will be smiling from ear to ear seeing that 1st place ranking. Very well deserved as well. They were clinical in the final against St. Anne's, so really well done to them. Obviously, then that means that Rodine was knocked down from 1 place to 2. We had St. Anne's, who jumped up 2 places as well. 3 places from 6th to 3rd. So really well done to Cameron Veed over there. He's doing great stuff since he took over the program at the start of this year. And they've got some really great youngsters in Maggie Matthews and Inez Letchard. So really exciting to see them coming through the ranks. And then finally we have Clarendon, who moved up 1 space to 8th place. So congrats to Hannah Muller for her team's performances.
And staying with Clarendon, we had the Clarendon Under 15 tournament happening in East London this weekend. And a big congratulations goes out to the Hudson Park team, who were champions of that Under 15 tournament at Clarendon. Glenwood House from Eden finishing in 2nd. A great result there for those girls. St. Peter's all the way from Joburg. Great to see them travelling to that tournament, coming 3rd. And DSG Makanda coming in 4th place. And quite interesting to note the tournament team there. Hudson Park dominating the scene with 4 players, DSG with 2, Glenwood House from George with 3, St. Peter's with 2 players, and then Clarendon, Stirling and Pearson all with 1 player making the tournament team. Roz, do you want to take us through the individual awards?
Absolutely, Dan. So congratulations to Mia Gibson of Glenwood House, Elevate player who participated with us at the under 16 competition. So congratulations to her. Best defender went out to Lucy Schwesheimer from DSG, and then best goalkeeper went to Caitlin McKenzie from Hudson Park.
Brilliant. Well done to those guys. Nice to see them doing well. Nice to see Mia doing well. She'll feature again later in the show. Spoiler alert. And then last but not least, out in the Boland, Somerset West, Somerset College having their Stayers tournament. And a huge congratulations to Rustenburg Girls High, because we know that they've, Cape Town school, they don't have their own water polo facility, so they are kind of having to remotely train and move around town. So a big moment for Rustenburg Girls High. Well done to Springfield Convent for coming second. St. Cyprian's coming third, Weinberg Girls in fourth, and Redham House Constantia in fifth place. Take us through any of those individual awards you recognise?
Sure, Dunks. So we have the best attacker, and congratulations to Caroline Lord from St. Cyprian's. The best defender went out to Jay Jarvis from Rustenburg, and the best goalkeeper went out to Sean Lester from Springfield. So congratulations to all those 3. I'm sure they had a great tournament. And yeah, really, really great to see some Elevate players such as Jade winning those individual awards. So clearly we're seeing all that hard work she's been putting in paying off for her team and for herself.
Yeah, that's really what it's about. It's about those players that are putting in the effort and reaping the rewards in these tournament seasons. Tournament seasons can be full of disappointment, but also in those situations, reward for a hard working winter
Yes.
that Sean and Jade and Carolyn have all been party to. So we'll be back in the next segment. We're going to be talking to the guys here at Herzliya High School, and look forward to bringing that to you in a few moments.
Advice is never simple. Why look before you leap? If he who hesitates is lost. Live within your means is sage advice. But then, why are we encouraged to go big or go home? The value of advice is bound to your unique dreams and circumstances. Context isn't just king, it's the entire kingdom, son.
This afternoon, so welcome everybody. Welcome to the show. Great to have you. I'm really excited to talk all things Herzliya. We have a wonderful aquatic centre which has recently been built, but I'm more keen, and our viewers are very keen, to kind of get to know you guys a bit more and get to know what's happening inside the Herzliya program. So I'm going to go over to you, Jamie. Maybe just introduce yourself and tell us what you enjoy about playing water polo for Herzliya.
Hi, firstly I'm Jamie Palmer, and I play Herzliya for the water polo first team. And the thing I enjoy most about water polo is just the camaraderie and the chias that water polo brings. And to be good at water polo, you have to be both physically and technically good. So it's both challenging and very fun for me at the same time.
Excellent. Thank you, Jamie. Sienna, I believe you've got some important leadership responsibilities in the school as well. I think you're the perfect person to tell us about what about Herzliya. What do you like about Herzliya water polo?
Thank you. I'm Sienna Berridge. I play for the girls' first team water polo. I think Herzliya as a whole has a great sense of community. So I think bringing the chias, like Jamie said, into all the teams, playing in a team where a lot of girls are younger as well, and being able to show them a sense of dedication and be a role model to them. I think that's what I most enjoy about Herzliya, that you maybe don't see so much at other schools.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's about the personal development as well as being a sport that you love.
Yes, definitely.
Excellent. Joseph, over to you. This amazing facility, which I'm just love coaching at, love being here. How's it felt to be a Herzliya student and have this appear on your doorsteps?
Hello, I'm Joseph Lee. I play for the under-19 first team, and I think when you're the first kind of group that's brought into a facility like this that you know is going to stand the school in such a stead for such a long time. It's really something to be proud of. And in terms of functionality, like pre-season training and off-season where it's a bit colder, we're kind of able to maintain you can kind of exclude external environments. You can optimize training in a way that ignores the cold outside in those colder months. Yeah.
Fantastic. And I'm assuming you played in the previous pool before this one started getting built?
I did, yes.
And how does that feel, the contrast between the two? I would imagine is huge.
It's a blessing, yeah. I mean, the old pool wasn't bad. It's kind of what you'd expect, but I mean, to look around now, this facility is nothing short of world class, like truly incredible, yeah.
Absolutely. What a privilege to be part of the school. And then we're going to go to Zoe. So Zoe, tell us about your season so far. So how's it gone? Tell us, update us. How's Hertzler Water Polo doing?
I'm Zoe Sternberg and I play for the first team girls team, and our season has been incredible. Last season we won the Mazunta Cup, and like Jamie said, there was so much ruch. I think it was at Weinberg School. It was really incredible, and this season it's been short and exams are coming up, but a lot of training, a lot of pre-season, and it's been really fun so far.
Excellent. Let's hear from Jamie. Jamie, how's the boys' side of things gone? How's the season been?
Yeah, so the season just started for us. Unfortunately, we narrowly lost our first game in Somerset College. We recently played the Fisher Water Polo tournament and we bounced back and we won the tournament. So yeah, it's going well so far, and I'm proud of the boys that we bounced back and we won the tournament. So yeah.
Wonderful. And I know some of your coaches. Tell us about your coaches. Which coaches have made an impact on you, and how's having some new faces in the coaching setup working?
Yeah, it's been great. So Coach Nick Pierce and Coach Bencher both play for the SA Under-20 team. So they bring vast experience and great experience to our team, and they've taught us great things so far, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season with them.
Excellent. Sienna, I'm going to go to you next again. Tell us, how does water polo fit into, we mentioned exams coming up and all those kind of things. I know you've, as a senior in the school, how do you find the balance to play sports at a high level and to still look after all your other academic requirements?
I think at the end of the day, water polo is a passion, and I think you're always able to make time for your passions, especially something like water polo in this amazing facility. I think that definitely adds to it, makes morning trainings a lot easier. And I think just knowing that in the long run, in the continuity of water polo at our school, that coming to a training 3 times, 4 times a week in the long run is going to benefit not just yourself, but also the younger grades. And I think that's what's important.
Absolutely, thank you. So now I'm going to ask each one of you, so you might have a bit of time to prepare your answer, but Joseph, I'm going to ask you first. Where would you do you have any water polo goals? Is it a team goal that you'd like to do this coming season, or is there personal ambitions or goals that you have for yourself in water polo?
So this is definitely something that I've thought about as a senior, moving into quite a junior team that we have this year. As a team and for myself, unfortunately the last 2 years we've narrowly missed out on the Mazunta finals. We've lost. So to win this coming year would be incredible, and to honor those that didn't get the chance to win previous years. But I think it's more than that. As I said earlier, this facility is something that's it's going to be here for a while, and to kind of bring a culture with that and to be able to set off strong. I mean, the new coaches have definitely brought in a culture of hard work, and what you put in is what you'll get out. So a goal for me as a senior is to almost bring that culture. As seniors, I think that's part of your job, and that's something that I look forward to being able to do.
Absolutely, great words there. Zoe, tell us about your goals, your ambitions for either for yourself as a player or as Hertzler and your teammates.
Our team is also quite a junior team. Like I said, we had a lot of matrics last season and it was incredible. So I would definitely like to do a lot more team bonding, because one of my favorite things about water polo is how it really brings a lot of grades together. I'm younger than everyone here, but first team, we've got a lot of grade 8s, a lot of grade 9s, and it kind of just gets the whole school involved, especially in here. So I would definitely like to do more tournaments. And I think overall just have another great season. Obviously try win Mazunta again, that would be great. But yeah, just a lot of team bonding and yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Well answered. And great to see the integration of juniors and seniors. I think that's really important. Sienna, your ambitions, your goals for yourself in water polo or as your team?
I think for myself, this is the first year that I'm really a senior in the team. So to take on leadership roles in the team as well, that's definitely an ambition and something I would like to do. We also, because it's a junior team, there's a lot of passion for it, and I hope that I can be someone who doesn't allow that passion and that flame to extinguish.
Very good, thank you. And last but not least, Jamie, your ambitions and goals in water polo?
Yeah, as Joe said, I'd definitely love to leave the school with the winning Mazunta, and we are working really hard to achieve that goal. And just for future goals for me, I'd definitely love to play water polo when I'm finished with school, whether that may be for a club or a university.
Excellent. Well, it's been wonderful to have all of you in the audience. Thank you for your passion for water polo, firstly, and secondly for your school. And we wish you all the best, and that may those goals come true. We're going to chat to the coaches very shortly. So we chatted to the great students here at Hertzler, but now we've got a fantastic coach in Ben Scher. So Ben, let's dive right in.
Thanks, Duncan. So the vision for Hertzler Water Polo is to hopefully get our teams, both the boys and the girls, into the A-League. We originally had a 5-year plan, but if it happens before that, that'd be absolutely unbelievable. I'm not sure if everyone knows, but both the Hertzler boys first team and the girls first team were both in the Mazunta B-League final and have been for the past 4 years. And we would really love to get them to the stage where they can compete with a Weinberg and a Rondebosch and a Bishops, and I think that will come with these amazing facilities.
Yeah, sticking to the theme of the facilities here, how do you think the change in the facilities has added to the dominance of Hertzler in the B League?
I think that so the pool before this was outdoors, and given that it is now indoors, it gives people the opportunity to train at times that people often wouldn't train, whether that's late at night and it would often be quite cold, or whether it's early in the morning and people don't feel as motivated to get up and come and train in a nice heated pool. So I think the added training times not only allows us as a whole, for the whole school, to continue to train as much as they possibly can, but specifically for the older kids who really want to get involved and actually hone in their skills.
Awesome. And as you kind of take over the program, I know you a number of new coaches here.
Yes.
What are some of the things that you, when you arrived, things that you saw, and not being critical, but things that you saw and you said, I think we should do things differently? What are some of the things you want to add a fresh stamp on?
Sure, it's a very, very good question. I think a lot of it boils down to culture, and it's often a word that we throw around and say culture this and culture that, and a culture needs to change. But I think it was important that both Nick Pierce, who's not here today, my coach that coaches with me, and I, when we came to the school, that we made sure that, specifically from the first team boys standpoint, that when guys came into training, that they made sure that they were passionate and that they had fun. And I think that's the most important thing, is that guys love to play water polo and they wanted to get involved and basically give their all to have fun and play water polo. I think that was a change that needed to happen. Yeah.
And Ben, having been a part of a successful school such as St. Stithians in terms of your playing accolades, what have you transferred from that environment into this environment?
I think it's a very good question. I think a lot of my mental aspects and the things that come with experience is what I've transferred, or at least have tried to transfer to my team and to everyone at Hertzler that I've interacted with. I think there's some certain instances or experiences that I've had that are unique to me, and I think the goal is for any coach is to try and pass on your knowledge and to pass on those experiences so that people don't make the same mistakes as you, or that they try and correct or push them down a path that you potentially would have liked to have gone down. And I think going to a school like Saints and being lucky enough to be a part of that SA team that went to Croatia gave me those opportunities.
Yeah, excellent. And you mentioned yourself and Nick obviously having an experience in Croatia, the S under 20 team. How can, what's the most transferable way that you can impact, youngsters with what you've learned from your overseas trips?
It's a very, these are tough questions. I would say, so I'm a goalkeeper, and one of the big ways that any team can, potentially have the chance to win a tournament or win games is to have good defense. And I think the best way for me to transfer my knowledge is through my goalkeepers, and all the way from grade 8 or even younger, from grade 8 all the way to matric, to make sure that every goalkeeper is confident and knows what they're doing. And I think that really sets off teams on a good base in order to build from. And I think that's the best way that I can really impact Hertzia.
Yeah, and it's definitely evident when you see Herzliya play. There's this like pride of representing the badge, and the kids really want to go and give it their all. What have you done in order to keep the kids focused on like the long-term plan? It's very easy to play against some of those bigger schools, and it's tougher games. What do you do to keep the kids motivated to work on that longer plan?
This is something we learned at the Elevate coaching camp. Thank you, Duncan. But one of the things that we did at the start of the season before our very first practice was we got everyone into the classroom and we laid out a timeline of what our season was going to look like from now up until the end of the season, which will come at the end of March next year. And we plotted out all of our tournaments, all of our games, and we went through what our training is going to be like from the start to the end, when we're going to be resting, how we're going to be training. And I think it's important for everybody watching at home, if you're an athlete, a coach, or just anybody interested in any sport for that matter, that you understand the path that you're going to travel on. And often when you can see a road laid out in front of you, it's a lot easier to walk on rather than just walking blindly. And I think that's one of the things we've done to make sure that guys know exactly what they want to do, and it makes them more passionate and more confident in themselves when they play and when they go train.
Fantastic. Well, Ben, we wish you good luck. Thanks for being on the show, and we're wishing you all the best and looking forward to your success.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, folks. We'll be back shortly in the next segment.
Advice is never simple. Why look before you leap? If he who hesitates is lost. Live within your means is sage advice. But then, why are we encouraged to go big or go home? The value of advice is bound to your unique dreams and circumstances. Context isn't just king, it's the entire kingdom, son.
Welcome back to the Elevate Water Polo Show, powered by SuperSport Schools and sponsored by Odin and Momentum. So I'm very excited to bring you this new goalkeeper segment that we've introduced into the Elevate space. Welcoming back Ben Scher here. He is the SA Under-20 goalkeeper, special friend of mine. Both of us went to St. Stithians Boys College together. Both obviously play goalkeeper, and I'm very excited to have him here to help us dissect one of the two greatest goalkeepers here, traditionally probably the most traditional base goalkeepers in terms of their technique and saving. And what's really special about this analysis that we're going to run through is one of them is not the tallest goalkeeper, sits at about 182 centimeters, 182, 183 centimeters, and the other keeper sits at about 2 meters tall. So clarity and height is obviously there, which makes a huge difference in the goals. But for some of our viewers who are not the tallest but are the younger goalkeepers, this is a clear evidence to show you that despite your size, you can definitely still make a big impact in the goals. Okay, so we're going to kick off here. We're starting off with Dani Lopez. He's a very famous water polo goalkeeper from Spain, played in 4 Olympics, and was the starting goalkeeper for nearly 10 years. Okay, here we go. That's what to say.
Yeah, great positioning. I think what's so important is that at a professional level, all of these goalkeepers are constantly, I always make the reference that they look like cats. when they're in a goal, and they constantly are treading basically with their belly buttons out the water in that position for 30 to 50 seconds, constantly moving.
I think what's, just to touch up on that, Ben, is what's really important that young keepers have this misconception about is there's that obsession with that breaststroke kick. They're so focused on that elevation or
Yes.
that maximum vertical height that they often forget about, they need to actually save the ball.
Yeah.
So a little bit more reliance on that high knee tread to help get them in the position. Like so far, I think in all of these videos we've seen so far, hasn't had one breaststroke kick to help get into that corner. It's been a big reliance on that
sure.
egg beater to keep him there.
For sure. And if these goalkeepers and the goalkeepers watching at home, one thing that you'll always notice about these goalkeepers is that they are constantly in the right position. And when we speak about the right position, we often refer to a semicircle that is formed around the goal through the 5 positions, going from wing to fetch to the middle to the fetch and back to the wing. And staying in that position with those high legs puts them in the best possible position to save the ball.
Absolutely. What's also key to notice here, Ben, is you can see that he's working so hard, but his hands are like not working as much to help elevate him. He's focusing on his leg strength and his leg power to help him stay at that height that he needs to stay to make that save, freeing up his hands to get to the ball.
Yeah, his hands are always super light, ready to move for those quick reaction saves. One of the things I also love about the majority of keepers at a professional level is when they make a save, they celebrate that save as if someone who has just scored a goal, they are doing the exact same thing, and you can see it means so much to them when they make a save, and that when guys shoot at them, they know that they can save the ball, and just their confidence makes the rest of their team confident. And I think it's a really cool thing to see.
Exactly. They're so proud of their craft and what they do. I mean, it's their job. They have to stop the ball. They have to make sure they're doing whatever they can to keep their team in it. And why shouldn't they celebrate? Oh, what an excellent save on the line there. Excellent recovery save here. Brilliant
Absolutely
stuff.
brilliant.
So that was Danny Lopez. Probably very unknown to some of the younger goalkeepers, as he did retire in 2021 after the Olympics in Tokyo. So for those of you who are a little bit smaller or a little bit younger and you haven't hit your growth spurt yet, he is a great example of how you don't have to be the biggest goalkeeper in order to make such crucial saves like that.
For sure.
So key takeaways from me is reliance on that egg beater tread. Make sure you're not, focusing so much on that breaststroke kick. Stay strong on your legs. Don't let your hands work too much to keep you out of the water. And just constantly watch the ball, even after the release and into the save as well.
Definitely, that's great advice. And also just to add on to that, when I went to Croatia for the Under-20 World Champs, the goalkeeper of the tournament was the goalkeeper from Spain, and he was also stood at about 182, 183 centimeters. So he also wasn't the biggest guy, but yeah, absolutely amazing and pure passion. Okay, should we look at the next video?
Exactly. Next we have Marko Bijac from Croatia. Also a legendary goalkeeper. I've forgotten even how many competitions he's played in. He has been around
forever,
since I was at school, and that's saying a lot. So he's been such an inspiration, and you'll see it immediately, just a noticeable difference in size and stature and how he uses that to his advantage.
One-on-one save. See how his hands stay low. Like lots of goalkeepers think that in a one-on-one you must put your hands up and try and stay in that position, but there's no need.
Exactly. Just watch how he funnels the ball back down into the water.
Just a great blocking as well.
That's great saving. Oh my word, what a save. What I love about the way he saves, and this is actually a perfect capture of how he uses his legs and his body length to his advantage. As he sees the release of the ball, he's come up big, but he's not gone in hands in front of him. He's gone hands out wide, so he covers the majority of the cage, and he relies on his reflexes if it does channel down the middle to cover that space in the middle, like overhead. You'll also notice now that he often, every time he gets shot at, gets a ball to the head, and he's so focused on getting so high out the water that he actually eliminates that space over the shoulder or above the head because of how high he comes up.
Definitely. And I also think that as a goalkeeper, when it's much easier for you to put your hands to the side and then go up, rather than to have your hands up and then go down. So, yeah, it's a very good point.
Absolutely. Just as we spoke about it now, see, he comes out so high, stays high, takes the contact on the head, but because of how high he is, he knows that there's not going to be that much space above the head to squeeze that ball in.
And these guys are shooting at about 82, 83 kilometers an hour when they throw that ball. So it's like a bullet to the head.
What I love about, and I just want to go back to that save initially, watch how he stays up so nice and high and keeps himself nice and big. He doesn't sink. No breaststroke kicks, just covering the space above. He trusts his blockers are covering what they're supposed to.
Yep.
Excellent
Brilliant.
read
Watching
there.
the ball, absolutely brilliant.
Huge save.
But yeah, I think it was to win the Euros.
Oh. Excellent steal.
I think it's important for young keepers to note that when your centre back is trying, or if your centre back is front marked their defender, that it's important that you come out to close that gap and make sure that if the pass does come over or it comes in from the wing, that you are the first port of call to kind of steal that out of the way. I think it's very important. A lot of keepers don't do that enough, I think, in South Africa.
I agree, Ben. I think it is a really big missed opportunity because, you know, if you push out of your goals and you see as a wing player who has the ball option to play into centre forward, and you see that goalkeeper's pressed out a little bit, you have that like slight hesitation. You're almost scared to give that ball in, and you have to put it back to the top, which ultimately kills the opportunity for
sure.
ball to land into centre forward.
Yeah.
So creeping off your line is a great tactic to help prevent that ball entry or to make your steals a little bit easier.
Definitely.
What I really enjoy about this save as well is he initially goes out to try and make the steal, but in doing that, he's also aware that if he comes off of his line, he'll be able to cover a large part of the goal if the centre forward does get that shot off, which makes him able to save that shot brilliantly.
Well, it's all about closing angles when a whole man gets a ball. You have to try and get as close to them as you possibly can.
Yes. Great one-on-one save.
See, he claims it. Gets him fired up, gets him in the game, gets his team in the game.
Oh, great save. Look at that. Watch how he builds himself up, which is what I love to see about goalkeepers as well, you know. This is the difference that we were speaking about when it comes to like tall versus short keepers. The taller keepers tend to like to stay low so that they can come out with both hands and cover the space around the corners a little bit better. Whereas, as we saw with like Danny Lopez, some of the shorter keepers, he prefers that more upright posture.
Definitely.
So that he can just come up quicker and then react to the ball. So see the clear difference between those keepers here. Oh, what a save.
That's brilliant.
Reads it so well, these guys. Like, you're right, Ben. Like, they literally, it looks like they're always in the right position. But it's because they've obviously trained so hard. What a reaction save.
Yeah,
like they've trained so hard to put themselves in these positions that they almost know what's going to happen before it actually happens, which helps them anticipate the shots and where it's going to go.
And I think at an international level, just from an outfielder's perspective, and from what I've experienced, and I'm sure from what you've experienced, when these guys miss a block, like they know they've missed a block, they know what they've done wrong, and their coach knows what they've done wrong, and it's almost like they've taken it onto themselves that they've missed a block, and everyone knows that it's had such a big impact on the team, and just that feeling allows the goalkeeper to know that his defenders will block, and if they do miss their block, that it's their fault and not the goalkeepers, which is important because it allows the goalkeeper to take that sort of onus away from him.
Yes.
And not allow himself to put it on him that it was his fault, and not like it was. I think as a goalkeeper, it's often the most difficult mental position because you're constantly saying that you are the last line of defense and it's your fault because the ball went past you last that it went in. But I encourage everyone not to think like that because it is self-destructive. and yeah, trust your blockers for sure.
Yeah, communication is so key as well there for goalkeepers.
Definitely.
You know, the last thing you want is for a goal to be conceded as a goalkeeper. So improving on your communication is a great way to help your defenders understand better where you want them to block, which in turn will give you more confidence. So goalkeepers who are young or whatever age you are, communication is a huge, huge tip to help improve your saving rates as well as your defensive rates.
Definitely.
What a save, my word.
So when you have long arms, it's a lot easier to move.
Must be nice, man.
Yeah,
Must be nice.
Must be nice. Brilliant stuff.
Excellent save. And that brings us to an end to our first goalkeeper segment here. We hope you've enjoyed, and we'll catch you after the break.
Advice is never simple. Why look before you leap? If he who hesitates is lost. Live within your means is sage advice. But then, why are we encouraged to go big or go home? The value of advice is bound to your unique dreams and circumstances. Context isn't just king, it's the entire kingdom, son.
Welcome back to the Elevate Water Polo Show on 216, brought to you by SuperSport Schools and sponsored by Odin and Momentum. Really great to have a very good friend of mine and a really important person in the water polo community, Chad Roman. Chad joins us as Head of Transformation and Development at SAWP, South Africa Water Polo. Chad, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Dunks. Such a pleasure to be here.
So I'm really keen to hear about your two initiatives that you've run over the last 3 months. You've been really busy. Tell us about the development initiatives that you ran at the SAWP Winter Series and at the Cape Town Invitational Tournament.
So at the Winter Series, which was such an awesome event, we ran a development clinic for kids that have played water polo before, and then another group of kids that it's their introduction to polo. On the introduction side, was all about making water polo fun and enjoyable, and not really caring too much about the rules, but having a huge mosh pit game where just kind of showing them the enjoyment of being in the water, throwing a ball around, and it's like building water confidence, and like water polo involves a lot of holding and grabbing, and like there was a little bit of that going on, and just getting them stronger in the water. So they thoroughly enjoyed that. And then on the more experienced side, we had a lot of the Winter Series players, seniors, stepping in to help out and offer some mentorship and guiding and helping the kids in the water. This was for more IPT level kids. We split into small groups and had station work, and it was like working on their shooting technique, their passing, giving them some tips that they can go back and tell their schoolmates about, or just the connection with a senior player. It's like for me, that is I always remember that as a young player, when you get time with a Springbok player, or it's like you never forget the advice they give you, and it sort of motivates you to do better. And it was a really special thing we had there. Then at Cape Town Invitational, we had something similar. There were 45 kids from different communities in the Western Cape. We had kids from the Goog swimming community and from Retreat swimming community, kids from Tigerberg Aquatics and UWC Swim Club. Then also B-League schoolers that are keen to learn and improve in their polo. This was similar, where we had some top center forward and center backs helping us out at the tournament, just sharing some of their advice and skills with the kids. And I mean, like, they were over the moon. Like, when you see someone you've looked up to and watch play standing there sort of giving you advice, some of them were were so in awe that they weren't even listening to what they were saying. You know, it is, but really cool to see that. You know, it's like it really motivates the players. Again, the important thing for us was when these kids finished, they're asking what's next. You know, like this was so much fun, but like can we have more? But we want more water polo. So, I mean, we're working extremely hard to sort of plan rather than having clinics once every now and then, something that's more consistent training. And yeah, the plan is to start an academy where these kids can train. And I mean, like since the clinic, there's been such a warm reception and people just wanting to get involved. And yeah, it's super awesome to be a part of.
Amazing and great work that you guys are doing. What's needed? What is like, if you know, you mentioned different formats, some kind of learning just to swim and get comfortable in the water, others who've played in big league school. What would you think is really needed to make that process all work?
So on the introductory level, I think it's really important that we just teach more people about water polo and the rules, and I mean sort of invite them to use certain facilities. We just want more kids playing the game. So it doesn't matter where you're from. If you love swimming, I mean, like you should have access to swimming. And the same thing is if you love sports and you introduce to polo and you love it, you should be able to play it. So we're just trying to get access to polo in more spaces, you know. Then in the more competitive side, I think there's a lot of talent in the B League and in spaces that, you know, there's no real path at this point into how do I become a Western Province water polo player or a South African water polo player from the B League space, you know. Whereas kids more in the Premier League system, it's like you've got SACS tournament and you've got all this where the selectors and coaches in that space get to see the players, you know. And it is tough, but we're working really hard on trying to just get more time for B League players to have time in the spotlight, you know, where they can be seen and where you can kind of develop their skills more. It's like upskilling more coaches in that space to actually teach them the latest rules. You know, water polo, the rules are constantly changing and evolving, and it's about sticking with the meta of the game, you know, and how do I use the new rules to my advantage, you know. And I think it's been growing and it's really positive to see, but we just need to keep at it, you know, keep expanding, keep growing. And yeah, the cool thing is like knowing there are a lot of people wanting it, you know, so it's not going to waste. It's like you're always getting a warm reception.
Amazing. Really great, and we look forward to supporting you on that journey. So thanks for joining us in the show, and yeah, you can lean on us for more support where we can. If there's clinics happening around the country, let us know, and we'd love to support and keep showcasing the journey. So thanks, Chad.
For meeting on this platform, and just to go on to some of the points that you've asked to talk about. The first point being Zim Water Polo's growth and preparations going forward. Zim Water Polo, I'd say, is in a good and healthy place at the moment. We've got exceptional growth throughout the Zim school setup, especially in the girls' side. Our girls' sections are growing, and we have huge interest in water polo. This year we've embarked on going to the World Championships in 2026 for the second time. We went last year with under 16 boys and girls, and we're looking to go next year with our under 16 boys and girls, and possibly our under 18s if possible, if they can get a place. I know that the boys would probably need to qualify, and the girls, if Africa are still allowed at 2 spots at under 18, we will hopefully go with our under 18 girls as well next year in 2026. So preparations in Zim have been happening for those squads. We've held the Africa Aquatics development tournament in early stages of this year. It was in April. It was the first time we've ever done something like that, and we're grateful for South Africa to come and participate against our under 15s and under 17s. And that was a good milestone for us to start that tournament. It was the first of its kind, and we look to do it hopefully again next year. Maybe the age groups might change. I'm still in discussions about that, and to try and make it an annual event to do the Africa Aquatics tournament, development tournament. We're hoping to get more African countries involved. We're grateful that obviously South Africa could come, but we're looking to expand it to developing countries and promote water polo in Africa So we're working on that at the moment, and I'm sure we'll get some information out soon. Around the Zim schools, as I said, the girls is growing fast, and we're working hard with the boys as well. We are currently preparing for IPTs down at Swipser for December in Johannesburg. So we have selected age groups, all of the age groups so far, except for under 14s. Their tournament and their selection announcement will be happening this coming weekend. So we're sending 12 teams down to IPTs, all on the development basis, preparing for World Champs in 2026. And we are sending 4 teams at under 13 level for development. So we're sending a green and a gold team for boys and a green and a gold team for girls. So it's not A and Bs, it's more of a inclusive squad. And yeah, we're excited about that. So preparations have begun for that, and we will be announcing the final teams for under 14s this coming weekend. Preparations are going well. We've got obviously teams practicing in every province. So it's a little bit of a logistical juggle to get teams training, and then they come together for a camp the week before we go to IPT. So end of November, we'll be together for a training camp, and we'll come down to the IPTs on the 5th of December. So that's all going well. Coaches are a variation between some Zimbabweans and some South African coaches who have come and helped us. So we're looking in a good space there for growth of our coaches and growth of our referees as well, sending down referees to IPTs to get some experience. On our third point, our future sort of plans for Zimbabwe water polo going forward is we want to really get more competitive at IPTs. So we're going to try and put more training into our teams and try and get a more structured year-round program. I think Zimbabwe is quite similar to South Africa in terms of our sporting seasons, where we have a big block in the middle of the year where we don't play much water polo or don't play any water polo at all, because the players all do different sports. They do winter sports, so rugby and hockey. So we have a big gap in our year where we're not in the water. So we are looking to expand our program and try and train throughout the winter. So we are working on heated facilities and trying to juggle players between different sports. So it's a work in progress, and we don't want to overload the kids because they end up doing so much, but we are looking to grow our program into a year-round program, and we're hoping that with having some international events like the World Championships to work towards, it'll be more incentive for the players to train year-round. So going ahead with our future plans, we're going to try and implement a year-round program. We're going to be working with squads that are training for future events like World Cups in 1 or 2 years' time. So it sort of it incites them to train. And yeah, we want to try and get more competitive and put our flag on the world stage. We're grateful that we managed to be part of the World Cups last year, or the World Championships last year, and we want to keep that going forward. And I think it's important that we get more African countries participating at these events. And I think that when you put yourself on the world stage, you put up a better standard and you take things more seriously. So we're working on more structured programs and implementing player profiles and player databases to keep track of, monitor athletes throughout the year. And yeah, just keeping them playing more water polo is ultimately what we're trying to do. We're trying to include as much as we can, and we're looking to expand as much as we can. So we do have our challenges, but I think with the right communication and the right planning and the right sort of energy and having your objectives in the right place, anything's possible. So yeah, we're excited, and we've got a great team of coaches and enthusiastic stakeholders and parents who are willing to support us. With all of that, we'll hopefully go places. So I'm not sure if you have any other questions that you might want to ask, or maybe I can touch on them, but let me know. Cheers.
Then to conclude the episode, we've got lots of exciting news and lots of exciting winners that we'd love to share with you. So you'll remember back to the previous episode, we had an Inspired Player of the Tournament award, which went out to the players at the St. Stithians Invitational. Last episode, we introduced the junior winners, and I'm very pleased today to be taking you through the St. Stithians Senior Invitational winners. So on the boys' side, the person who wins the Inspired Player Award and a 5,000 Rand hamper from Elevate, which will include both a great clothing hamper as well as a free entry into our Bupa high performance camps in January. Congratulations to Thomas Aylwood. So Thomas comes out of Kersney College in the KZN Midlands. Well done to Thomas. And on the ladies' side, from the Collegiate Girls High School in the Eastern Cape, we have Zama Panchwa, who will also be winning a 5,000 Rand hamper from Elevate in conjunction with the St. Stithians Invitational Tournament. So I mentioned those camps. We're looking really forward to having 2 wonderful Spanish coaches coming out in January to run really high performance water polo camps focusing on individual skills. They are coaches with a diverse skill set, and really looking forward to having them in the country for the very first time for one of them and for a second visit for the other. Then, as always, Odin, one of our sponsors, are very good to support one school of the week every week, and Lawazi is going to share that with us.
My Odin School of the Week goes to Rustenburg Girls High School. Congratulations to them for winning the Somerset College Stairs water polo tournament that happened this past weekend. Big shout out to Jay Jarvis, who won Defender of the Tournament over there as well. Excellent stuff by the Rustenburg girls, who had a really impressive display at that competition.
Fantastic, very deserving winners from Rustenburg Girls High. Then Delane is going to come in again from the Eastern Cape. She's going to give us our momentum moment of the week. So over to you, Delane.
Hello everyone. Our momentum moment of the week goes to Rachel Fletcher from Clarendon Girls Primary School in East London. An all-rounder who has already made her name for herself as a standout goalkeeper in water polo. Rachel only started playing water polo in grade 6 and is now in grade 7 and is, let me tell you, fearless in the goals. At the under 14 Peter Cuff tournament, Rachel pulled off a match-winning performance in the final, saving 3 penalties in the shootout to help her under 13 team take the under 14 tournament title. She then backed it up this past weekend at the under 15 tournament, where her under 13 team managed to beat some under 15 teams and narrowly lose to some of the other teams. But some standout stats shows that against Collegiate under 15A, she had 15 shots against her. She managed 11 saves, 1 penalty save, and only conceded 2 goals. Against a Pearson High School under 15 side, there were 19 shots against her. She made 15 saves, 4 penalty saves, and only allowed 2 goals. 13 years old is Rachel, but she is a powerhouse already and a name to look out for in the future, and is so deserving of this week's momentum moment. So well done, Rachel, and well done to your Clarendon under 13 team for making waves in the pool.
And wonderful to see all those young players doing extremely well. So huge congratulations to Rachel Fletcher for being the momentum winner of the week. Then, as always, we've been asking you for footage. We've been asking you to clip your favorite clips on the SuperSport Schools app. And for this week, we have a best goals submission from someone we know very well. We've mentioned her name a few times on the show. So congratulations to Mia Gibson from Glenwood House, from George. And her goal, which you'll see on screen, is from her game against Clarendon. A really important goal, and congratulations to Mia for that. The best defensive play goes to Charlie Slater, who made an absolutely brilliant save, and well done to Charlie for being this week's defensive player of the week. We're going to have one more final round of clips that we're going to call on, so please make sure you send in your best goal or your best defensive play for this week. I know the season's almost coming to an end, but I think there's still people who can be brought into the limelight, so we can give exposure to more people scoring great goals and doing great defensive plays. Then to end off the show today, we're going to look forward into the next week. So for what's happening in water polo world, we have the Mike Samuels tournament down in KZN, which is an under 14 tournament. Many of you will know Mike. He's been a fantastic servant of schools water polo, encouraging young boys and girls from the Durban area for many, many years to take up water polo as the game they love and the sport that we both love. Mike's son Gareth was a SA national player and an SA coach, so a fantastic family, and we wish all the organisers of the Mike Samuels Under 14 tournament, all the best for the upcoming tournament. Folks, that's a wrap for today. A big thanks to all of you for sending in your clips, for sending in your best defensive plays, and for watching and supporting what we're trying to do with the show. A big thanks to our sponsors as well, to Odin and Momentum. It's been a real thrill to bring you another great week of water polo.